we'll go with Ms. Bowers then. And that's one of your clients this afternoon, Ms. Pages?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And this is cause number 2021-0D01118 and 2021-0D01119. That being the state of Texas versus Brescia Lee Bowers. Is that your true and correct name, ma'am? Is that your true and correct name?
Yes.
You have to, yeah, you have to speak up so we can hear you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is your date of birth 6/28 of 1997?
Yes, sir.
And do you recognize your attorney there, Ms. Pages?
Yes.
And Ms. Pages, do you recognize your client there, Ms. Bowers?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Well, we're ready to proceed then. What is the plea agreement, Ms. Ritchie, if you would give it to us on the record?
Yes, Judge, on both cause numbers, it's a 1244A, 65 days time served.
All right. And is that your understanding of the plea agreement, Ms. Pages?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
And is that also your understanding of the plea agreement, Ms. Bowers?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now you understand the plea agreement is not absolutely binding upon me, but should I choose not to follow it? Should I choose to be harsher than that, you could withdraw your pleas. We could proceed to trials on these matters at a later date. But if I follow the plea agreement, it will be final. You cannot withdraw these pleas. You cannot appeal these cases without my consent. Now, I guess you would be, unless there's any other charges holding her, are there any that you're aware of, Ms. Pages?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, well, then you would be released fairly soon. I assume maybe even as early as today. But the only repercussion would be that these would be convictions on your record. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, we have in front of us some documents marked States Exhibits 1 in both cases, the guilty plea and waiver forms in the cases. They bear the signature of your attorney, the state's attorney, what appears to be your signature. Did you in fact sign these documents?
Yes, sir.
Did you read them before you signed them?
Yes.
Did you understand what you were reading and signing?
Yes, sir.
And did your attorney further explain to you the meaning of these documents?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any question about their meaning?
No.
So that there never is any question, let me briefly explain to you what they mean. Primarily two things. First, you're coming into court telling me through a judicial confession, yes, Judge, I did commit these offenses, or I was involved in the commission of these offenses as a party under the laws of the state of Texas. And secondly, you're telling me that you understand that you are giving up some valuable rights here today. The most important of those rights is your right to a trial by jury, not only upon the issue of guilt, not guilt, but also upon the issue of any potential punishment. You fully understand that?
Yes, sir.
Understanding that, then how do you plead to each of these charges, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Are you entering your pleas of guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
Did anybody force you, threaten you, coerce you, or in any way make you plead guilty?
No.
Did anybody promise you anything, persuade you in such a manner that you felt you had to plead guilty other than the plea agreement stated on the record in open court here this afternoon?
No.
Now, you are a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
And how old are you, ma'am?
I'm 23. I'll be 24 in 4 days.
Okay. And how far did you go in school?
I graduated high school.
So you can certainly read and write the English language.
Yes.
Have you ever been under the care of a psychiatrist or psychologist for mental health issues or mental illness?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Did you hear me?
No, I didn't hear you.
Oh. Okay, the question is for any mental illnesses or mental health issues.
Yes, I have been diagnosed 3 years ago, and I got diagnosed last year in Champions Health in Alamogordo, and I'm receiving treatment from some of the intake place that they're helping me get into a rehab afterwards.
Okay, so you are taking some medicines today.
Yes, I took my Boost Bar and my Seroquel last night. Sorry.
Okay, are they helping you?
Yes.
Okay, and so with this medication, are you telling me that you believe you are mentally competent to understand everything that's going on here today?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and Ms. Pages, if you had time to go over the facts and circumstances of these cases, the legal aspects of the cases, and had time to evaluate your client's mental status.
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you believe, are you representing to me that you believe she is mentally competent to enter these pleas?
That is correct. It is my belief that she is.
All right, then based on your representations, Ms. Pages, and your representations, Ms. Bowers, and the court's observations of you in court, both here today and prior occasions, I find that you are competent to enter these pleas. The state may summarize the evidence.
What the notes is?
Yes, Your Honor. Had the state proceeded to trial on both of these cases, we would have proven each and every element listed in the indictment beyond a reasonable doubt.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right. Court, have gone over these cases with both attorneys for the state and the defense on previous occasions. I find the evidence is sufficient to find the defendant guilty in each of these under 1244A. I'm ready to proceed upon the issue of punishment. Look, one thing.
They get total 20, 10, and then 10. Okay.
I note here that you were wanting to go back to school. Are you planning to go? Where do you plan to live after all this is over? Do you want to stay here in El Paso or go somewhere else?
Well, I'm going to a rehab once they have a bed open for me. They're currently looking for a bed for me at the reentry program. They're looking for a bed for me right now. I'll probably go to school probably here in the near future in the next 2-3 years. I'm going to go to school for aromatherapy.
Oh, that's very good. Well, I hope all of that works out well for you. And best of luck to you, and I will follow that recommendation then. It is a time served plea, 65 days in the county jail. And like I said, hopefully you'll be released very soon, get the treatment that you need, get back on your feet and be able to lead a strong and productive life, a life that you would want to lead and be proud of.
Thank you.
Thank you, and best of luck to you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay. Let's do Mr. Luzier next.
Yeah, okay, so it's our system and it's called TCIC/NCIC.
Do you think you have time to finish this, Mr. Tristan?
Yes, I do, Your Honor. Yes.
Okay. As soon as they bring him here, we'll take care of that.
Yeah, because it's still showing. Well, actually, New Mexico has to remove it from the system, and since they're the ones that have that one for her, so New Mexico is the one.
Annex, we're ready for Luzier.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I guess they were waiting for us and we were waiting for them. Right. Good afternoon, Mr. Luzier. This is cause 2021-0D00561, the state of Texas versus James Brandon Luzier. Is that your true and correct name, sir?
Your Honor, my actual last name since my adoption when I was 33 from my stepfather is Garcia. It says it on my birth certificate and my license and stuff. That's my old last name, but I just wanted to inform you of that. I don't know why they have me booked under the Luzier name.
Okay. Well, let's see. So your last name is what now?
It's Garsee, Garcia.
Okay.
That's my legal last name.
Yeah, spell that again for me.
It's Garsee, Garcia.
Okay. Do you want us to change that on the indictment?
You don't have to, Your Honor. It's still me either way.
Right. I mean, if you could go with an also known as, what do you think we should do, Mr. Tristan? Just go with the indictment as it is. And
I think we should, yes, Judge. I think we should go with the indictment as it is. I mean, he's
right.
AKA.
And then you've just got an also known as Garcia.
That's right.
Okay. Very good. We'll try to do it that way, Ms. Rubio. All right. So, let's see. Your date of birth is 9/25/84.
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you recognize your attorney there, Mr. Tristan?
Indeed, I do, Your Honor.
And Mr. Tristan, do you recognize your client there, Mr. Luzier or Mr. Garcia?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Okay. Then, and I guess since we're using the Luzier name in the indictment, I'll refer to you that way during this process. Is that all right with you, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Judge, and it actually does say the also known as on the indictment.
Oh, it has. Okay. Very good. All right. Then, Ms. Ritchie, what is the plea agreement? Would you state it on the record?
Yes, Judge, it's 6 years deferred, a $1,000 fine, half of it probated, 200 hours community service, urine and breath testing, curfew, no possession of firearms, and it is to run concurrent with the probation that he's currently on out of Bedford, Texas.
And I believe that's in Tarrant County.
Yes.
Okay. And I suspect you want this probation to be transferred to Tarrant County?
I would like that very much, Your Honor.
All right. I think obviously we'll be able to do that.
Thank you.
Right, Ms. Ortiz?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Will he have to stay here in El Paso once he gets out?
He needs to
report
to the Interstate Compact Office first, Your Honor, before he can leave.
Right. It's not as difficult as going to another state. I think you have to report. She'll give you some more instructions of who to report to, okay?
Thank you.
Okay. All right. And that is your understanding of the plea agreement, Mr. Tristan?
That is correct.
And that is also your understanding of the plea agreement, Mr. Luzier?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Now, you understand the plea agreement is not absolutely binding upon me, but should I choose not to follow it, should I choose to be harsher than that, you could withdraw your plea, we could proceed to a trial at a later date. But if I follow the plea agreement, it is final. You cannot withdraw the plea. You cannot appeal the case without my consent. You would begin serving that probation immediately. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Now we have in front of us some documents marked State's Exhibit 1, the guilty plea and waiver forms in this case. They bear the signature of your attorney, the state's attorney, what appears to be your signature. Did you in fact sign these documents?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you read them before you signed them?
Absolutely, Your Honor.
Did you understand what you were reading and signing?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did your attorney further explain to you the meaning of these documents?
Yes, he did, Your Honor.
Did you have any question about their meaning?
Absolutely not.
So if there's never any question, let me briefly explain to you what they mean. Primarily two things. First, you're coming into court telling me through a judicial confession, yes, Judge, I did commit this offense. And secondly, you're telling me that you understand that you're giving up some valuable rights here today. The most important of those rights is the right to a trial by jury, not only upon the issue of guilt or not guilt, but also upon the issue of any potential punishment. Do you fully understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Understanding that, how do you plead then to this charge, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Entering your plea of guilty freely and voluntarily.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did anybody force you, threaten you, coerce you, or in any way make you plead guilty?
No, Your Honor.
Did anybody promise you anything or persuade you in such a manner you felt you had to plead guilty other than the plea agreement stated on the record in open court here this afternoon?
No, Your Honor.
Now you understand the potential punishment for this offense. Let's see. It would be a third-degree felony.
Yes, it's a third-degree felony, Your Honor.
Okay, because we're not going under any enhancement paragraphs.
No enhancement.
Okay, so third-degree felony, not less than 2 years nor more than 10 years to serve in prison, a fine not to exceed $10,000. But instead of putting you in prison, I can place you on probation for any number of years, not less than 2 nor more than 10. You understand I have to sentence you somewhere within those general guidelines.
Yes, Your Honor.
You are a U.S. citizen.
Yes, Your Honor.
And how old are you today then?
I'm 36 years of age, Your Honor.
And how far did you go in school?
I have like 28 credits in college.
All right. Well, you can certainly read and write the English language then, right?
Indeed, Your Honor.
Have you ever been under the care of a psychiatrist or psychologist for mental health issues or mental illness?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Ever suffer any serious head injuries?
No, Your Honor.
And you're telling me you are mentally competent, you understand everything that's going on here this afternoon?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor. Absolutely.
And Mr. Tristan, you've had time to go over the facts and circumstances of the case, the legal aspects of the case, and had time to evaluate your client's mental status.
Yes, Your Honor.
And based on all that, are you representing to me that you believe he is mentally competent to enter this plea?
That's correct. Yes, Judge.
All right. Then based on your representation, Mr. Tristan, your representations, Mr. Luzier, and the court's observations of you in court, both here today and prior occasions, I find that you are competent to enter the plea. The state may summarize the evidence.
Yes, Your Honor. Had the state proceeded to trial on this case, we would have proven each and every element listed in the indictment beyond a reasonable doubt.
Okay.
No objection, Judge.
Received. Based on the evidence before the court finds the evidence sufficient to find the defendant guilty of this charge. However, I am not finding you guilty because this is a deferred plea. I'm going to wait until some later date to finally adjudicate or decide this case. That'll be based on your conduct. If you do everything you're supposed to do on probation, and if that probation then is dismissed, whether it be 6 years from now or any time less than that, then the case against you is dismissed with no finding of guilt. And hopefully that's of some advantage to you in the future in either your job pursuits or educational pursuits. That's the good way for it to end. The bad way is that if you don't do what you're supposed to do, primarily if you stop reporting or you commit other offenses, you could be brought back before the court. The court could find you guilty and then sentence you up to 10 years in prison, the maximum. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Understanding that you still want me to grant your motion for deferred adjudication.
Indeed, I do. Yes, very much so, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. Now, let's see. I think we have some notes. I don't know if they're correct. You are presently married?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you have 3 children?
Yes, Your Honor.
How old are those children right now?
12, 17, and almost 19 years old.
And were they living with you prior to your incarceration?
Yes, Your Honor. My son was, yes.
And are they back in Fort Worth? Or, I mean, in Tarrant County?
Yes, Your Honor. My son is. My daughters live in Florida.
Okay. And so it's your intent to return to Tarrant County, get back established with your family, and then get back to work?
Absolutely, Your Honor.
Well, what kind of work do you have lined up?
Well, currently I'm working on a new company called Aquavet, but what my trade is, I'm a salesperson and have been so for the past 9 years. I worked at larger companies like All My Sons as the national director of sales and national trainer. So I'm pretty astute as a salesperson, Your Honor. That's what I'm going to get back to.
Well, there's always a need for good salespeople.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Well, it looks like you've got a good plan, getting back with your family, getting back to work. I hope it all works out well for you. I'm going to follow the recommendation, 6 years deferred probation, and good luck to you, sir. Make sure you see the interstate probation officer so they can transfer your probation to Tarrant County and you can start working out over there. Have you got a way to get back to Tarrant County?
Yes, indeed, Your Honor. I've already purchased a bus ticket. It's just waiting on me. So I'll go by there first to interstate contact office and then head over to the bus station after I'm complete.
All right. Yeah, I don't know how long that'll take. If for some reason it would take over the weekend for you to get all this arranged, have you got somewhere to stay?
I indeed do, Your Honor.
Okay, yeah, I wouldn't want you out on the streets just without anything at all.
No, sir, that's not going to happen.
It's pretty warm out there.
Yeah. Just one more thing, Your Honor. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I do understand the magnitude and the gravity of what's going on here. So I just want to let you guys know I appreciate it and thank you very much for the opportunity.
Well, all right. Well, thank you and good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. May I be excused, Your Honor?
Yes, you may.
Thank you. Good.
Okay, now let's go back to Mr. Estrada. This was a case that I think, Myrna, you had it added on today for us?
Yes, Judge.
All right. Well, thank you for getting this one in. And let's see, we're ready to meet with Mr. Estrada then.
Good afternoon, Judge.
Okay. This is cause 2020-0D03355, State of Texas versus Jose Estrada. Is that your true and correct name, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Excuse me, I couldn't hear you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And is your date of birth 12/29 of 1990?
Yes, it is, sir.
And do you recognize your attorney there, Ms. Pages, present?
Yes, I do, sir.
Okay, and Ms. Pages, do you recognize your client, Mr. Estrada?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so now, Ms. Richie, if you would state the plea agreement, please, for the record.
Yes, Your Honor, it is going to be reduced to a state jail possession less than $1 grand. And it is a 1244A time served 161 days in the county jail.
Lesser state jail. And then you said
a 1244A, Judge, time served.
1244A, time served, and about how much time is that?
It looks like 161 days. And then we will also be dismissing a 2021 0D01376.
That's a misdemeanor?
No, sir. It is a prohibited substance item in a corrections facility.
Oh, okay. What was the number on that one?
2021 0D01376.
We hadn't even really pre-trialed that one yet, had we?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. So dismissing one felony and letting him plead to the other one, which is a time served. All right. Is that your understanding of the plea agreement, Ms. Pages?
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
And is that your understanding of the plea agreement, Mr. Estrada?
Yes, it is, sir.
Okay, now you understand the plea agreement's not absolutely binding upon me, but should I choose not to follow it, should I choose to be harsher than that, you you could withdraw your pleas and we could proceed to trial on both cases. But if I follow the plea agreement, you cannot withdraw the pleas. You cannot appeal the cases without my consent. And the only repercussion would be that these would now become convictions on your record. You understand that?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Or this one would be, pardon me, because one's being dismissed. The one would be on your record. You understand that?
Yes, I do, sir.
Now, we have in front of us some documents marked States Exhibit 1, the guilty plea and waiver forms in this case. They bear the signature of your attorney, the state's attorney, and what appears to be your signature. Did you, in fact, sign these documents?
Yes, I did, sir.
Did you read them before you signed them?
Yes, I did, sir.
Did you understand what you were reading and signing?
Yes, I did, sir.
Did your attorney further explain to you the meaning of these documents?
Yes, you did, sir.
Yes, that's it.
And did you understand what she was telling you?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any question about the meaning of these documents?
No, I don't, sir.
So if there's never any question, let me briefly explain to you what they mean. Primarily two things. First, you're coming into court telling me through a judicial confession, yes, Judge, I did commit this offense, or I was involved in the commission of this offense as a party under the laws of the state of Texas. And secondly, you're telling me you understand that you're giving up some valuable rights here today. The most important of those rights is the right to a trial by jury, not only upon the issue of guilt, not guilt, but also on the issue of any potential punishment. Do you fully understand that?
I do, sir.
How do you plead then to this indictment, guilty or not guilty?
You're guilty, sir.
Are you entering your plea of guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, I am, sir.
Did anybody force you, threaten you, coerce you, or in any way make you plead guilty?
No, no, Your Honor.
Did anybody promise you or persuade you in such a manner you felt you had to plead guilty other than the plea agreement stated on the record in open court here this afternoon?
No, Your Honor.
Now, you understand this is, well, as a 1244A, the potential punishment is from 1 day to 1 year in the county jail, a fine not to exceed $4,000. You understand I will have to sentence you somewhere under those general guidelines.
Yes, sir.
You are a U.S. citizen?
Yes, I am, sir.
And how old are you?
I am 30 years old.
How far did you go in school?
I graduated, I got my GED, sir.
Okay, so you can read and write the English language.
Yes, I can, sir.
Have you ever been under the care of a psychiatrist or psychologist for mental health issues, mental illnesses?
No, I haven't, sir.
Suffered any severe head injuries?
No, Your Honor.
So are you telling me you are mentally competent today? You understand everything that's going on?
Yes, I do, sir.
Counsel, you've had time to go over the facts and circumstances of these cases, the legal aspect of the cases, and had time to evaluate your client's mental status.
Yes, Your Honor.
And based on all that, are you representing to me that you believe he is mentally competent to enter this plea?
That is correct.
Okay. Then based on your representations, Mr. Pages, your representations, Mr. Estrada, and the court's observations of you in court, both here today and prior occasions, I find that you're competent to enter the plea. State may summarize the evidence.
Yes, Your Honor. Had the state proceeded to trial on this case, we would approve each element listed in the indictment beyond a reasonable doubt.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right. And of course, we have gone over the facts and circumstances in prior hearings between Ms. Pages and the state's attorneys. I find the evidence sufficient to find the defendant guilty under 1244A, and I still find I'm ready to proceed upon the issue of punishment. Let me see if I have much information here. What, when you get out here, what are your plans, Mr. Estrada?
Oh, my dad's fairly sick right now, sir. He's going through prostate cancer. I'm gonna try to be there for my dad as work-wise. I lost my job during this incarceration, but my employer, he's a real good friend of mine. I'm pretty sure I could go back to work with him. You know, he's a subcontractor, and I got a lot of skills out there. You know, I got to do concrete, roofing, landscaping. I'll find something, Your Honor.
Yeah, I think you've done some roofing and things like that before, right?
Yes, I have, sir.
Well, I'm very sorry to hear about your father's condition. Are you going to go live with him, or what are you going to do?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm gonna go stay with my dad at my dad's house, sir.
Okay. Now you had a fairly young child, like a 4-year-old child.
She's 5 now, sir.
She's 5 now.
Yes,
Are you involved in her life?
Yeah, I'm not really certain. I haven't, you know, but my dad's been had custody of her since she was a little baby, and hopefully this time I should be around for her, you know. That's what I'm trying to work on.
Well, it sounds like both your child and your father need you. You know, and they need you to be able to be there for them through these important years and months. You know, maybe particularly your dad right now. Seems like you all have had a close relationship over the years. And so sometimes, you know, he's helped you a lot, I'm sure.
Yes, he has, sir.
And he's been there for you many times.
Yes, he has, sir.
And so now it's kind of on the opposite foot. You got to be there for him.
Yes, I have. Yes, sir.
It's very good that you're ready to go out and help and get back to work and do what you can to help support your father. I admire that. So that's a very good, noble thing to do. We never know how many days we have, and I hope that you spend as many precious days with your family as you possibly can. One thing that'll prevent you from doing that is, you know, getting back in drugs or going around with the wrong people. That can lead to a lot of trouble, as you know. So try to avoid that and take care of your dad.
All right.
Okay, I'll follow the recommendation. It'll be a time served plea, 161 days or something like that, and we'll dismiss the other felony. And I hope there's no other charges pending. Are there, Ms. Pages?
No, Your Honor. My only concern is the other dismissal that will be holding him until that is signed and processed. So Ms. Ritchie has emailed that to Michelle already, and hopefully we can get that as soon as possible. That will keep him in jail.
All right, why don't you, well, we can do this. I think Michelle will get the dismissal to me here this afternoon. I'll sign it, come up, you know, I'll give it to you, the copy. We'll get one filed with the clerk. And I did want to talk, this is your only other case for the day, Ms. Pages?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Okay, and I was wanting to talk with you and Ms. Ritchie, maybe Ms. Vergara, about some thoughts I had about, you could see this morning we were talking about July and August in-person hearings, and I kind of want to get your all's feel on how we should proceed, and some ideas that I have too. Do you think after we're done with these hearings, we might have a few minutes to come up and talk to me about that?
Yes, Judge, I'm actually not at the courthouse today,
Okay.
but I am available by phone or, yeah, that's fine.
Okay, well, I can put you on phone, or maybe I'll just do a 3-way phone conversation.
Okay.
All right.
We can also Zoom her from up there, Judge, or Teams her. I have access to, right, Ms. Pages? I can Teams you?
Yes, I'm on Teams as well.
Okay, but sometimes the Zoom, I have a hard time hearing that, and then I do just a straight up phone. Maybe,
okay, Judge.
Maybe I'll just try we'll try a 3-way call. You all have each other's phone numbers, I guess?
We do.
I have Miss Lexa's phone number, Judge. She has my phone number, so she can contact me. And
all right, I'll be in touch with you all then a little bit later this afternoon after I get done with this, and we'll make sure we get that dismissal signed today.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, and good luck to you, Mr. Estrada. Really hoping that you can put this time to great use and have a very special time with your dad.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pages.
Bye, Mr. Estrada. Good luck.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, let us go to the next case. That is with Juan Martinez.
Your Honor, may I be excused for now?
Oh, yes.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Take care.
You too.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. Are you, let's see, we had Mr. Pettis was on this case before. Are you sitting in for him, or are you substituted?
No, I substituted, Your Honor.
So you are now his new attorney?
I am now his new attorney.
All right.
Your Honor, he needs an interpreter.
I don't know if we have an interpreter present. Do we have one?
I can call and ask Judge.
Okay, well then I'll go on to the other one and come back to Mr. Macias.
Sure.
Because I don't have an interpreter yet, but we should have one in a few minutes ready.
Okay, Your Honor.
Sorry, Mr. Macias.
That's all right.
Let's do then the bond hearing with Mr. Walker. Okay, and is that your case now, Mr. Georges?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because Mr. Yanez was on the case. Has there been a substitution?
I filed him.
Okay. So this is cause number 2020-0D03663 and 2020-004207. State of Texas versus Evans Walker. That is your true and correct name, right, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And this is this the first time I've done a bond hearing on this case? It looks like it is.
I believe it is, Judge. And Judge, we're technically only here on the 2020 0D04207. Well, okay. because I'm not in on the other case. I mean, we may do that later on, but I'm not in on it yet.
Okay, you are in on the, so Mr. Yanez is in on the 3663?
No, that would be Mr. Greg Anderson is in on that one. I know it's confusing.
It's getting more complicated, but that's okay. Greg Anderson has that case, and you have the DWI 3.
Correct.
07. That's probably the one that has the high bond on it, is it, or not?
Yes, it is. Well, I mean, and Judge, he's well, the last I looked, he was out on the 3663.
Oh, okay. So the bond is only on the 4207. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So let's look at what we've got here, the facts and circumstances of this case. Let's see. I think the bond, the history of the case is that let me see if I have the one about it. It was on June 12th of this year at about 2:30 in the morning. There was some kind of was this a traffic stop going on, and the defendant crashed through a roadblock and hits a police vehicle on Paisano Street. Is that about right? Was that what we went over at the judge's pretrial conference before?
And Judge, I wasn't there at that. So.
You were not there at that, but those were
right.
just, I'm looking at my card for the notes with a BA of 0.146.
That sounds Judge.
What?
That does sound on par with the police report, Judge.
Okay. Then I show on the other hearings so for Mr. Georges's benefit, that was a hearing that was held on September 3rd of 2020, the judge's pretrial conference where I was given the alleged facts of that case. Then back prior to that, on August 31st of 2020, we did the judge's pretrial on the other case, the one that you're not appointed, Mr. Anderson has. And that had something to do with a DPS case on January 8th of 2020, about 8 a.m. in the morning. The defendant was stopped for no front license plate. There was a smell of marijuana. The defendant was the sole occupant at that time on Highway 62-180. At that time, I believe he had 3 outstanding warrants, and he had the residue of some marijuana in his mouth or something like that. And I guess that's what that's case is all about the tampering case. Criminal history, there was a DWI in 2020, pardon me, in June 1st, there was a robbery conviction in 2017 where he did some time in prison. There were numerous assault family violences. He owned a roofing company and works door to door. He has some children. I don't know exactly how many. Does that sound correct?
That sounds correct.
All right. Now, apparently he'd been out on bond up, let's see, now the next thing we did was on October 5th of 2020, the state gave a combined rec on this case of 5 years in prison. And that's where we went over some more of the criminal history with a little more detail. On January 11th of 2020, I was given a motion to surrender the bond that he was on. I believe at that time it was a PR bond.
And Judge, that was probably 2021. Probably.
What?
The bond surrender had to be in 2021. January of 2021.
Oh, January 11th of 2021. You're right.
Okay.
That would be correct. He had missed 38 tests on the intoxilizer between November 25th and December 28th. Based on that, I issued a surrender of that bond, put the bond at 150,000 cash surety, 10,000 PR with the intoxilizer. Does that bring us to present on the case?
Yes, well, more or less, Judge.
There was something about at the arrest on the one that he was aggressive and belligerent, trying to leave the scene of the DWI 3. Okay, what did you want to bring to my attention then about the defendant here?
Well, okay. First of all, he still owns the roofing company, and they still have pending work, even though he's been in jail for a while. They've got 4 employees, and Evans does the estimating and gets the work and negotiates with the insurance company. And they're a roofing company, although their name is Next Level Constructing Services Incorporated. He has available resources of about $1,500. Now, he's on a PR bond on the 2020 0D03663 case, and we're going to say he's in compliance with that. He reported all the way through all this stuff where the warrant was on the other case. So okay. No violations on that. Now on the DWI case, our claim is no history of misses or numbers before 12/7 of 2020. That's when he got the COVID. That's when he couldn't do anything anymore. He couldn't blow in the machine because he was too sick to. So he was sick for a little bit more than 30 days. When he got better, there was a warrant. And
okay, I'm trying to get this down. He got COVID. Okay. When did he catch that? And
12/17
of 2020.
Of 2020.
Okay. Well, that covers then. I don't know how many of those 38 tests occurred between 12/17 and 12/28, and how many occurred between 11/25 and 12/17. That certainly makes it less serious than it looks, and it may be. Right. I don't know.
Well, I mean, and we were hoping that we might know.
Do you have medical proof of the COVID? Did he get hospitalized or anything?
Let me see. I got. They gave me a receipt of some kind. Oh, for the test.
Yeah, usually usually you'll get if he didn't go to the hospital, if he just treated it at home, which most people were treating it at home, but he'd have a card that showed a positive test.
Yes, Judge. Here, let me see if I could find that.
And probably,
well, Judge, I have seen it.
he probably waited a few days. Do you mind if he testifies about that so I can get better information?
Oh, sure, that's fine. I mean,
we're not going to go into the DWI 3.
Okay.
Mr. Edwards, Mr. Walker, when did you get this? When did you catch COVID?
The paperwork that I gave to Mr. Georges is from Upper Valley Medical Clinic, where I tested positive on 12/17 of 2020, Your Honor.
And did you have symptoms prior to that?
Yes, Your Honor. For about 4 to 5 days, I wasn't really able to breathe really good, but I don't have insurance. So I was hoping it was just a regular cold. Then I went to Upper Valley Medical Clinic and they diagnosed me, Your Honor.
Okay, so you diagnosed on the 17th, and you may have had it another 4 or 5 days prior to that where it was hard for you to breathe before you got a test. That would take you back to about maybe 12, give you the benefit of the doubt, 12/12. Now, do we know have we got any information about how many occurred between then 11/25 and 12/20 or 12/12 of 20? Do you have any idea, Miss Ritchie, or PR bonding people, or?
I don't have that specific time frame, Judge.
Yeah, I don't either. We're going to need that. Okay, what else
13
do you want me to go into? What else did you want to present, Mr. Pages? Pardon me, Mr. Georges.
Well, that I think that I said that they have available resources of about $1,500 to post a bond with, and they may be able to scrape up a few more dollars, but that's probably about it. I think I have it all. I mean, you know, the fact that he's got a couple of pending jobs. I mean, that's interesting. He's smart. He's smart enough to get to work.
Are you married? Do you have children?
Yes, Your Honor. I have a wife and I have 3 kids here. One in San Antonio. My wife is. Since I've been here, she hasn't been working because I watch the kids Monday through Friday from 8 in the morning to 3 o'clock while she's at work typically.
How old are your children?
I have twin girls that are 9 years old, and I have an 8-year-old boy here. In San Antonio, I have a 13-year-old son who I pay child support for.
All right. What I'd like to do is I'd really like a good picture of the PR bond, how he was doing on PR bond before. In other words, were they having any problems with him on his PR bond or not? I'm going to have to get a complete report on that. And how many of those skips, that's important to me, are most of the skips between the time when he had COVID. Have you given that card to Miss Pages, or so she's got a copy of that? Miss Ritchie?
Okay, I'll give a copy of the card to Miss Ritchie, okay? Mr. Walker told me that he gave a copy of the card to his PR bond officer.
Okay. But have you seen it, Miss Ritchie?
No, Your Honor, I have not.
All right, well, she needs to see that. And we need to talk to the PR. Who was the PR bonding person for you, Mr. Walters?
The PR bond officer that I had originally left, I forget her name, and then I had Alejandra Coronado. I was reporting with her up into my arrest. I tried calling her several days ago from in here, and I was told that she's also no longer with the PR bond office, and that I should report to her supervisor and Miss Elizabeth Williams until I get assigned another officer. Mr. Georges had a slightly incorrect. The only person that's received that Upper Valley Medical Clinic diagnosis is my attorney as so far, sir.
Oh, Mr. Anderson?
No, Mr. Georges, Mr. Gerald Georges.
Oh, Mr. Georges. Okay, then, well, he's going to get that copy of it to Miss Ritchie. She can check that out. And then I want.
Can I have Miss Ritchie's email? I'll send it to her right now.
Yes, sir. It is KRITCHIE@epcounty.com.
All right.
KRITHIE?
RITCHIE.
Your Honor?
Yes.
Also, I'm sorry to interject here, but there was a time where I had to actually send my interlock unit back to the provider because it wasn't working. And I had sent that to them, and there was like a 3-day period where I wasn't blowing because I didn't have the unit that they were sending back yet. My original PR bond officer was aware of that. And then when I called to tell her that I had received a new machine, at that point, I was told that she wasn't, that's when I first found out she wasn't there anymore. And I had a new officer, a gentleman, I forgot his name, unfortunately.
Okay. What I want to do is reset this for Monday morning, a Monday morning hearing at 10 o'clock, so that we can get all this information gathered for me, so I can then make a decision. Is there anything else, Mr. Georges, or anything else, Mr. Walker, that you want to let me know about in relationship to this bond?
Only that sorry.
Go ahead.
Only that I have another contract that I had got signed before I was incarcerated 2 weeks ago that I was set to start on the 29th. Since I've been in here, I've roofed and completed one of the jobs that I had pending. I sent Mr. Georges the permit and the contract that was completed. But one of my worries is that how am I going to get these people's house roofed or their money back if I'm in here?
All right. Well, I'll be looking at all of that. I'll consider that.
And Judge, I do have a copy of the contract and the permit that he pulled on that job. I just consider it to be evidence that his company is regular and does good work, or does work the right way.
You own the company? Are you the major person in the company there?
I'm the owner, Your Honor.
You're the owner. Okay. All right. Well, let's reset this for Monday morning at 10 a.m. And so we can get all of this evidence so I can see it and the state can see it. And then I'll consider the bond at that time. Obviously, I probably, based on all of this, I would reduce it some. I don't know how far yet. That's what I'll make a determination Monday morning. All right? Thank you. Okay.
Ms. Ritchie? Oops.
Yeah, did we get an interpreter? Yes.
I got your email, Mr. Georges.
Yes, I'm here. Yeah.
Okay. Do you want the one with the permit and the contract?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll send it. That'll be separate.
Thank you.
Okay, let's proceed in then in cause 2020 0D00728, the state of Texas versus Juan Martinez. And we'll get Mr. Martinez is present, Mr. Macias is present, Ms. Ritchie is present, and now the very capable Mr. Cifuentes is present as our interpreter.
How are you doing, Judge?
I'm doing well. All right, I think all we're going to have to do is interpret to the defendant. I don't think we're going to have him testify at all. Are we, Mr. Macias?
No, Your Honor, we're not. I have his family here in the office. They are going to do the testifying. What I'd like to present to you is I would like the court to, I would invite the court to take into consideration that my client has 556 days flat time. He's been incarcerated for almost 18 months and during the worst of the COVID. This man is our age. He's in his 70s, or I think maybe older, Your Honor, than just 70. Let me see what is.
Yes, you're right. He is born in 1946. He'll be coming up.
He's 75 right now.
He'll be, he's coming up on a birthday because his birthday is 7/12/46.
Judge, I'm going to take a break for the interpreter to interpret, Judge.
Judge,
okay, pardon me. Oh, we're going to have to do this. Yeah, he doesn't have the headset. We're not doing it simultaneous. You're having to do it piece by piece. Okay.
Well, I tell you what. If you have the function available to you, go ahead and do that. Enable it. That way he can hear everything. Both of you are talking. That he can hear at the same time. If you have that available.
I don't, Mr. Cifuentes. They need to ask me about an interpreter before I send the Zoom meeting, and I didn't know until today.
Yeah, we didn't know until right now.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, muy bien. Entonces, allow me to see if he can hear me and I can hear him when he speaks. If you just give me 1 second. Señor Juan Martínez, ¿sí me puede escuchar?
Perdón.
¿Sí me puede escuchar?
Sí, cómo no.
¿Puede dar un paso al frente para verlo mejor, para escucharlo mejor? Muchísimas gracias. Mire, señor, yo voy a estar interpretando para ustedes. Lo que ellos digan, yo lo voy a repetir en el otro idioma para que usted vaya entendiendo. Ahorita sabemos que esta es una audiencia para la determinación de la fianza. El número de su caso es el 2020-000728. Su abogado dice que ya tienes 556 días en la cárcel, viene siendo más de 18 meses, y estuvo usted ahí encerrado en la peor parte de lo que es la pandemia del COVID. Usted ya está cerca de la edad de ellos, cerca de los 70 años, o quizás hasta mayor. Su fecha de nacimiento es en 1946. De hecho, el 12 de julio de 1946. Entonces, es lo que están tratando de determinar. La familia suya está presente en la oficina del abogado. El abogado les va a pedir a ellos que declaren, y esperemos tener suficiente tiempo para hablar después de ellos para que usted entienda lo que ellos acaban de decir.
Ok, está bien.
Okay, muy bien, muchas gracias. I think I cut him up, Your Honor.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he's
Okay. So now, if you want to go ahead and make your proffer, Mr. Macias, and then remember, stop every so often so Mr. Cifuentes can interpret that to your client.
Okay. I want to get my first witness, Your Honor.
All right.
Okay. I want you to sit right there, young lady. Okay, you can take off your mask. Young lady, would you state your name for the court?
Karina Martinez.
Wait 1 minute. Hold on. The court reporter needed something.
You need to swear him in, Judge?
Oh, yes. If you would raise her right hand. Does she solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Did you hear her, Your Honor?
I heard her say C, I thought, but I don't think that, I'm not sure if the interpreter could hear her or if the court reporter could hear her. She's going to have to speak up.
Okay, you're going to have to speak up, okay? Okay, you can lower your right hand. All right. What is your relationship to my client?
Good.
He's your father?
Yes.
Okay, this is the interpreter. I'm gonna need time in between question and answer.
Sure.
And okay, so she's a little soft-spoken, so I'm having a little hard time on hearing her, and I think the co-reporter as well. Señora, dígame su nombre de nuevo.
Mi nombre es Juan Martínez.
Ok, ahora ahí tienes a su hija, va a declarar. Yo voy a interpretar para su hija. Ok, vamos a escuchar lo que su hija tenga que decir. Ok, si me permite un momentito.
Okay.
Señora, could you tell me your name again?
Karina Martinez.
Okay. Karina Martínez va a declarar y yo voy a repetir lo que ella diga, señor. Usted no tiene que decir nada.
Okay. And what is your relationship to my client?
¿Y qué parentesco tiene usted con mi cliente?
He's my father.
Él es mi papá.
And do you live at home?
Yes.
¿Y vive usted en casa? Sí.
Where he would be living.
Yes.
Donde él estaría viviendo, ¿verdad?
Well, this is going to be too difficult. I can see my court reporter is not going to be able to follow this. I'll let you just offer what she's about to say. Yes.
Judge, I was in another court, and when they needed an interpreter, what they did is everybody got off. Michelle, if she knows how, can put the icon on or do what she needs to do really quick, and we can log back on it. It will take less than a minute, I think, if she can do it.
It's not enabled.
I think we have to all be kicked off.
I can send another invite with the same link and everything, but we'll just have to get all back on.
Right.
It'll take a minute.
I guess
I'm all for it.
How long this is.
I believe, Judge, he said that he has several witnesses, and if we're doing this consecutive, it'll be quite a bit of time.
Okay.
Michelle, I think you can use the same link because when I was in the other court, we all just got off and then we just logged back in and they were logging. So I think you can.
Yeah, I think I can. And if not, I'll just send a new link just to the people that it pertains to.
Okay.
I'm going to get off live. Okay, Judge?
Okay.